Welcome back to Cards and Comics, guys. It's been a bit since I've done a mail day. Today's going to be fun. There's going to be some really cool cards, but some of them aren't my traditional kind of mail day cards because for a long time I've had cards in the old PWCC vault. And now I'm starting to kind of send them back to me because I don't really care to have them in the vault anymore, which is now owned by, I think, PSA. So today I'm going to have some cards that just came to me in the mail from the vault and a bunch of cool 90s cards that I always have and a few Griffey cards for fun. So let's start with the cool, vintage cards for the most part. And then we'll go into the more 90s cards, so to speak, and then Griffey. So we'll start here with the first vintage card here. And this is like probably, I don't know, my favorite, just because it's a cool set that I don't ever show off on my channel too much. But it's a set I thought about putting together, like with a bunch of other sets. But 58 Hires Root Beer. This is the whole no tab version of Duke Snider. Love that card. You can see a little bit better. Here is the back. And this is obviously a pretty ancient holder. So everyone's going to be like, oh my God, this card, doesn't grade, whatever. It's a nice card. You can see it here. There's the black centering. It's pretty nice. It's a little to the right, I guess, a little bit, but the borders are very thin on this card. So it's just a really cool set. You don't see these cards in the wild as much as you used to. I remember like when I really noticed this set, it felt like the cards would come up for auction quite a bit, with tab, without tab. It feels like they don't see the light of day as often as they used to. So I thought about, again, putting that set together. My caveat, and the reason why I haven't done it, is because of that lack of cards, but also it's just one of those sets that has so many cards in it that I don't care as much about, even though there is a Maze and an Aaron, but there's no Clemente. And if there was a Clemente, I obviously would be much higher interested in that set. Next up is a 60 Jim Brown, PSA 7, and again, just had it in the old vault for a lot of years. Back's very nice, no scratchy, and just a nice card. Jim Brown cards are, I think, have always been a little underrated, undervalued, but I do think post 2020 pandemic, they did catch up quite a bit. So I know this card's probably been pretty stagnant lately, just because all 60s and 70s vintage has kind of been stagnant, unless you're just one or two players that's kind of gone nuts. But most players, even Jim Brown, has gone pretty stagnant. So, but yeah, it's kind of fun just to be able to see these cards again for the first time in forever. And the last but not least is the 62 Topps Billy Williams. And again, I've been selling a lot of my 60s cards, so I had this in an 8 at one point. This goes back to my days of trying to take SGC cards and grade them, cross them over to PSA. So that was the whole point of this card. It's got a great centered back. And so it was centered. It has a little corner there. So I think in today's PSA environment, anything that has a touch on the corner like that won't get any. They're very tough right now. So I'm just glad to have it in a 7, and I'll probably just sell it in a 7. And a lot of set collectors need that card. It's one of the harder to get 8s in that set, so a lot of people just go for the 7. So it sells pretty good as a 7. So let's go into some of the modern cards here. I got some really interesting observations here. So a set I've been putting together slowly over time, and really just a subset of a set really is what I'm more interested in, but I just love artist proof cards. Now this is not one. This is a actual museum collection card. I just want to show people, like, if you don't know the difference between the museum and the artist proofs at 97 Pinnacle, that is an artist proof, and it says it right here at the bottom. And that's what the museum cards look like. So the artist proof cards come in 3 colors, where the museums all come in the same style. So just some reference there. I do collect a lot of Ivan Rodriguez, so it's fun to get his museum. Now, I believe they've stated that the print run on 97 Pinnacle Golds was like 300 cards, I believe, is what the stated print run is. And, based on what I've seen, pop reports, just cards for sale, I think that's probably pretty accurate. You got to give a plus or minus to anything from 97, 98. When bankruptcy and reprints were happening, backdoor cards was happening. So no one can ever say definitively that something that's not serial numbered had a print run. Even serial number cards from Topps from that time period had issues. So that's one of the challenges of the 90s, is that there are so many sets and cards where stated print runs and actual print runs and even number cards sometimes don't have those cards actually be, or those numbers be accurate. But so that's where we're at with this set. It is a stated print run, but I love the cards. I love what they look like. So I'm going to get all the golds. That's my goal here. So we'll start here with, probably the worst gold I have right now, the Todd Walker. And the one thing I wanted to show you about the Todd Walker, because here is the Paul Molitor, is the difference in color between the golds. And I have seen this in another color too. And I haven't noticed it in the third and silver, but in bronze and gold. I'll show you the bronze one. This difference in color, and this is, to me, it's just cool. Now, I don't know if there's a Todd Walker out there that has this sort of brighter gold color or not, or if this is just like when you had like some sets in the 90s where you had different foil. I think Soaring Stars had different foil patterns. So it's not uncommon to see a foil be slightly different. Like they ran out of this shade of gold, so they just said, screw it, we'll just give it this other color. But it's interesting that 2 different colors of gold there. So you got Paul Molitor. Then here is another gold one. So again, you got Brian Jordan. And then, again, you can just see that gold color is pretty different. Now, the card that I was super stoked to get was the gold Manny Ramirez. Which is the Clout 9, and which is, right now that card is, this whole run of cards. This whole run of cards is just gotten kind of crazy, with the Griffey really going up in price to kind of, kind of a crazy level. When I first got these cards, I love artist proofs. And so, the new Pinnacle with the blue, the greens, the reds. And then you had these Pinnacles, which had the gold, silver, and bronze. So I was always just interested in the rarer ones. But these Cloud 9s with this kind of checkered pattern, which gives it like a 3D effect, always were just cool looking. And everyone who had them was just always like, hey, this is like one of the coolest Dufex cards ever made. And just the 9s and the Griffey and if you have a 10, I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's a 10, have just gotten kind of crazy. And over $1,000 for the Griffey now. And I've had at least 3 of them, and of the Griffey of this. And, I think $200 to $300 is the most I ever paid for one of them. I think my first one, I was in the $60 to $80 range. And again, this is like 2020 time period. This is not like 20 years ago. So it's gone nuclear within the last 5 years. So putting the whole set together, the Cloud 9s, is cool. And you got to remember, there's also silver and bronze in the Cloud 9 as well. They're not all golds. Which gives me, the next up is the 2 bronze cards I have here. So I got Andres Galarraga and Matt Williams, and there you again see the variation in the foil. So I think it's pretty obvious that they're different colors. You got more of a copper look here, and then you got more of a I don't know, like what you would call like I guess bronze look here. I don't know. It's just they're different shades, and I don't know if this was just part of. I don't think it's a printing process. I just think that they had multiple foils that they were using color wise and just said, good enough, and we'll just go with it. And but that also lends me to the credence that there could have been second or third print runs. And that's the problem you get into these cards is like you don't know if was it because when they were making the sheets to get the first, again the gold here, these aren't gold, but did they go back and print more of them and just didn't have the foil anymore? Did they run out during the printing process and get a different color foil? I mean, you can see the golds here, just, very different foil. So we'll probably never know, but it's just one of those cool things about the 90s that you get those kind of mysteries that you kind of wonder what's going on. Some other cool cards I picked up. Epic's Jeff Bagwell season, which season's usually in that mid to upper tier rarity. So it's a purple. It's cool to pick that one up. And again, the Griffey was from a set, was from the jump. I'm trying to think of the name of the set. The jumbos that no one. The studios that no one liked. So yeah, a lot of cards in that series aren't popular. And then the Moment Griffey is obviously the set that was never issued. So yeah, that makes that card. All of them have to be backdoored to get one of those copies. I did get 2 cards for my 99 Stars and Steel domed holographic gold set, so that was cool. Kerry Wood and Travis Lee, 2 cards to go into that set. That pits me almost 30 cards. It may have put me right at 30 cards now. 30 out of 44, I think. 44 cards. So that makes that set closer. A bummer thing happened to me this week. I did buy the Tony Gwynn, and the dealer backed out. He refunded me the money. So that was a bummer because the Tony Gwynn is one of the big Hall of Famers I still need. And to have one go on an auction and buy it and then have the dealer kind of renege just bummed me out. Now, he said that he was either damaged or he said damaged or lost, but he never reached out. And, it is what it is. But it's just a bummer because it went a little bit lighter than maybe he thought it should, but it went pretty good. You can go back and see it. It went pretty good. So I don't know what happened there, but then here's the backs again. For people who have not seen the backs, they are reflective as well. But yeah, 2 more cards of that set. It's getting harder and harder to find cards I need. So after getting the Frank Thomas, I have all the big stars. So I guess Tony Gwynn is a big star, but still I have the 4 big guys. I have the Griffey, the Thomas, the Jeter, and the Bonds. So everyone else is a tier below that. So I have the 4 big guys. So I'm really looking just to get the set done. I don't know if there's anyone else who has this set. I think it'd be cool if someone actually has this full set to reach out, and so we could just kind of compare notes, because I just think it's such a cool little set that I'm just happy to hopefully eventually get that together. Another cool card here. Just picked up the Diamond Cuts from Flair Showcase. This is 97 Flair Showcase. I can double check here. Yep, 97. I love that set design. It's one of those cards too that, like, it's interesting that you'll see a lot of 9s and 10s in the set. But people just love this design. It's such an extreme card. Just lots of die cuts, a lot of different colors, just a lot of stuff going on. Crazy cool design back in the day. 2 pickups also from another set I'm building. This is the Star Factor Donruss. The 97 Donruss Limited Star Factor set. So this is the yeah, the limited exposure set. So I picked up 2 cards from that. And I've got the Mark McGuire and the Juan Gonzalez. And this puts me at 18 out of 40. So I'm whereas in the Stars and Steel set, I've hit the 20 total. Here, I'm getting close to that number. And again, the McGuire obviously is a little bit bigger card, but it was really off center. You can see it is tragically way off center. I got, I guess, a fingerprint on there. I got to maybe wipe off. And yeah, it's a print line. So again, condition wise, not the greatest. Bummer. I got to get that looked at. I think that's just me touching the card. But yeah, there you go. That's the McGuire. And then I got the Juan Gonzalez. And the Juan Gonzalez is actually pretty well centered comparatively. And it has, again, the print lines. So you're not going to get I mean, I just don't know anyone who has a perfect one of these cards. I believe there are some 9s. I don't know if there's any 10s. But the thing about this set that's very different than my Stars and Steel set is I only own one of the big cards in the set. So there is a Jeter, a Thomas, a Griffey, and a Bonds. I only own the Thomas. I don't have the Griffey in the set. And the Bonds and Jeter aren't quite as hard to get. But man, that Griffey is going to be tough. People are starting to hoard the set and hold it near and dear to their hearts, meaning that they do not want to let that card go. And if they do let it go, they want a lot of money. Because again, these cards were theoretically set Stadium Print run of 40. And yeah, it's a tiny amount. And comparative to the Stars and Steel set, I don't know how many holographic golds actually existed because there were one in every other box, so you wouldn't think they would be that hard to pull. But I'm pretty sure that product was a super duper short print because of how expensive it was to print. So I'm not sure there's that many. I mean, I've talked to a lot of collectors, and everyone thinks it's 100 or below for any of the holographic gold cards, 98 or 99. But it just shows you, like, if they were numbered or had some sort of steady print run, they might be a little bit more expensive. Because again, the Donruss Limited exposure set did have a steady print run. Whether or not people believe it or not, who knows? Again, all the other caveats of backdooring and second and third print runs, who knows? But the pop reports and just how hard they are in the secondary market to get, doesn't lead me to think that they're just out there in large numbers. And then moving on to the Griffey side of it. So the first card I have in my Griffey is something weird. It's out of 5,000. It's from Upper Deck. They call it's the Gold Glove Award. It's a jumbo card, and see, it's numbered out of 5,000. But there you go. I saw this, and I'm just like, I kind of like jumbo cards. I'm not. They aren't, becoming my favorite, but I just thought it was cool. I think it's like $5, and it's just like I've never saw it before. It's got the gold foil. It's got a signature there. Rawlings Gold Glove. It's licensed, so you got his full photo, and it's then there's the back. So it just like obviously this is probably a card that was issued in some sort of like retail package. They loved doing this back in the day where you would get a Griffey plaque with the card in it or something, and they would manufacture these cards. So it is what it is. The holder is interesting. It's just it's a throwback to that time period, and it's just kind of fun. It's not worth anything, comparatively, I think, because I paid $5 for it, but it's just kind of fun to have. Next up is a card from 2005, and love to get the gold version of this, but this is the silver or the base version of it. It's the Zenith Griffey. So there you go. That is, I believe, the artist proof. Silver, and there's a gold. So, yeah, that's a beautiful card. The golds on this set have gotten really tough. Any player. They're numbered to 50. They look amazing. I think I had the Vlad in the set, and just love how it looks. And this is the last year they ever made Dufex cards that I'm aware of, and it's been documented. And accordingly to the powers that be of these companies, this technology no longer is available to the companies. They would have to go out and invest in the equipment again to make it, because evidently the companies that made this kind of technology don't exist anymore. There's no real demand for it. So yeah, they'd have to go back and recreate it, and evidently they're not going to do that. So Dufex cards are kind of a 90s relic and won't ever be coming back unless some companies decide that it's worth it. And so far, no one has decided that. 98 Finest. Now, this would have been a cool card. The double-sided Griffey Clemens Refractor, except I already had it, so this is a double. And it's an expensive lesson to learn, as to always double check your checklist, because I thought this was on the list and it was not. So now I have two. It's a cool card. I mean, Clemens is obviously not what he used to be. And there's a ton of other cards in that set. There's Thomas, there's a Griffey, there's a Jose Cruz, there's a Mike Piazza, so A-Rod. So a lot of cards in that set to choose from. The Clemens is probably second to last, right above Jose Cruz. So here's a cool card from that Donruss Limited set for 97. This is the Fabric of the Game. So this is the wood variant, which has number out of 500. And if you feel it, it has that wood texture, which has been done by a lot of sets. So not overly cool from that perspective, but number to 500. And pretty tough pull back in the day. I just thought it was really fun. And, another Artist Proof. And this is like what I remember Artist Proof as a kid, where they always were just like a regular card with a little stamp. And that didn't make me love them. You had first day cards like that. I mean, the little stamp was a very 90s thing, where, oh, like this card's so cool, it has a little stamp. And it worked on me as a kid, but as I got older, obviously, when we look at Artist Proof cards that evolved later on, like the old, card like that, you can see like little stamp versus that Artist Proof technology from, and again, this is the same year. This is 97 score. So you can see as technology evolved, you could go crazy in 97 or have a little stamp. So that was definitely a choice that companies can make. And for that set, they chose to go with the most basic design possible, but still a card I want. And I love Artist Proofs. Now, last but not least, is another card from that PWCC Vault era. It's the 96 Skybox Metal Universe. I think 96. Sorry, 98. This is the All Galactic Team card. And there you go. It's in a cool 8.5. I'll probably get this popped and just put it in a normal holder, because I don't think the 8.5 makes it worth anything, really. And but I love the card. It's a cool card. And I just had it in the vault. And again, another card I thought about sending back to PSA at some point to see if I could maybe into a 9 or something like that. So, but that is today. I know I haven't had many videos in a while. I've been traveling quite a bit again, and I got to achieve something professionally as a scientist I've never been able to do in my life. I was able to address, and I'll talk about it in another video a little bit, but I was able to address my alma mater. I went to Cornell University and gave a talk on my area of specialty. I'm a food scientist, and so that was cool. So and I'll talk about that a little bit more, but that's what I've been doing, and that was something I was able to do that I've never been able to do in my life before, is to give a speech, give a talk to students at my alma mater. So that was very cool. So a lot of cool 90s cards, a few vintage cards, especially from the era I used to collect quite a bit. 60s and 70s, or just 50s and 60s here. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be selling, trading cards for the rest of the year, but obviously I had a huge national. I'm still kind of like keeping things on the DL from that time period and just kind of getting cards for sets. If something big pops up, that I can afford, I can trade into or sell some cards to get into, I will. But right now, I'm just kind of like enjoying working on sets. And, if something that works out, it works out. But, getting these cards in was a lot of fun. And hopefully I can get a few more before the end of the year. And I'll share with you guys. And I'll see you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.